Man, what is good, YouTube? I made a 16-man bracket of 16 different fighters representing their country in UFC 4. And also, before we get into it, I got Leon Edwards. He's representing Jamaica. I was going to have him UK, but his flag's Jamaica on this. And then, like, same thing for Adesanya. He's going to be representing Nigeria instead of New Zealand. And sorry if someone you wanted in this got left out. Someone was going to get left out. In this first fight, we got representing US, John Jones versus Korean Zombie. In the first round, they were just trading positions and submissions the whole time. And I don't know what happened for the beginning of the fight, how it got to the ground, because I accidentally didn't clip it. I either didn't clip it or accidentally deleted it. I don't know what the hell happened. I was looking for it. This video was supposed to be out sooner. But anyways, Korean Zombie did land a big overhand that drops John Jones. He was shooting takedowns, wasn't able to get it, but John Jones reversed him, and then he slams him on the ground with a hip toss. Once John Jones had him on the ground for a little bit, he ended up putting him into a crucifix, and he went for a straight arm lock, but Korean Zombie was able to get out of it. And after he got out of it, he did reverse position, but John Jones was able to do a sit out, and he took it back to the feet. With only a minute left in the round, John Jones started hitting some knees and a big uppercut and a hook that sits down Korean Zombie. And then basically that was the rest of the round. Halfway through round 3, Korean Zombie throws a big spinning back fist that rocks John Jones. Korean Zombie was probably up 2-0, but he goes for a spinning back kick to the body that John Jones counters with a spinning back kick to the face. Now in the next fight, representing Georgia and representing South Africa, we got Merab versus DDP. They kept trading takedown attempts. None of them were able to get it, so they just ended up hugging for a little bit. DDP got tired of hugging, so he ended up throwing 2 hooks that ends up rocking Merab. But Merab wasn't about to take all that punishment, so he ended up shooting a takedown, and this time he actually gets it. But DDP ended up going for a guillotine, but he didn't get nothing out of it. Merab got out of it, and after 2 minutes of being on the ground, Merab finally gets up. With 20 seconds left in the first round, DDP, he gets a takedown. He goes in for some ground and pound, but Merab gets up, and basically that was the rest of the round. Round 2, DDP goes for another takedown, and he gets it, but Merab was going to put him into a Kimura, but he was able to escape. But just like that, Merab was able to take his back with 2 minutes left in round 2. Then Merab basically controlled him for the rest of the round on the ground. And then start of round 3, DDP goes for a takedown, but he gets stuck into a guillotine. But Merab didn't get much out of it as DDP was able to escape. DDP went for his own submission that he got nothing out of. And after just trading positions on the ground, they finally got up, but that was the end of the fight, where DDP ended up winning a split decision. In this next fight, we got Leon versus Moreno. Moreno ended up landing a big overhand and a head kick that sits him down. This is Mexico versus Jamaica. Not a lot happened in the first round, but we get to the second round, Moreno sits him down again. Leon Edwards was not having a lot of success going for his clinches. He just kept getting clipped every time he went for a clinch. Moreno was piecing him apart where Leon Edwards was not blocking, and he ended up getting slept, which is sad because I was kind of cheering for them in the tournament. In this next fight, we got Russia versus Italy. I ain't gonna lie, there's a lot of people representing Russia. I was actually gonna do something where I was gonna... There's different places in Russia I was going to have people represent, but I didn't want to do that. I just took Islam for Russia by itself. Vettori did rock him, but Islam goes for a body lock and slams him, but he was able to have amazing takedown defense, and he gets back up. Islam did end up getting in the fight on the ground, but he went for an armbar, and fortunately for him, he didn't have enough time to get it. Start of round 2, Vettori goes in with a straight right hand that rocks Islam and gets him on the back foot. Islam did take the fight to the ground, and he did get his back, but Vettori did a good job of not giving up his submission, and then he ended up getting back to his feet. This fight eventually got to the feet. It seemed like Vettori had a big advantage on the feet as he rocked Islam again and pushes him on the ground. Vettori didn't take it there, but Islam did anyways because he hip tosses Vettori and takes it to the ground, but he got back up. Once it got to the end of round 2, Islam finally get his first rock with an overhand and a head kick, but Vettori was able to eat it. Islam ended up mixing in another takedown, but just like always, Vettori got back up. After another fight of being up 2-0, this happened.
You all doubted me, so I couldn't do it. The all said I couldn't do it. Look at me now!
In the next fight, representing all the Aussies, we got Alexander Volkanovski taking on Polish Power representing Poland. And after a lot of sitting around on the feet, Volkanovski goes for a high kick, but he ends up doing it just to set up a takedown. And another time in this video, someone gets a takedown, but Jan Blachowicz goes for a guillotine. But unfortunately for Jan, he wasn't able to get it, where Volkanovski just stood up and gave him a couple ground and pound shots to end the round. And then it was the start of round 2. Jan Blachowicz goes for a spinning side kick that rocks Volkanovski. I didn't even know he had that kick. But you really don't want to piss off Volkanovski as he drops him with a big overhand that sits him down. But Jan Blachowicz, he was able to reverse the position, and he puts Volkanovski into an armbar, but he didn't get nothing out of it, but it was close. After not a lot of action, we got to round 3. Volkanovski lands a big overhand that Jan Blachowicz just tried to eat, but he didn't eat. With a minute left in the round, Volkanovski ends up going for a takedown. He got him to the ground, and he gave him a couple more ground and pound shots. And basically, this fight was just on the ground for the rest of the fight, where Jan Blachowicz goes for a submission, but it was a little too late, as Volkanovski gets it done for Australia, winning a unanimous decision.
7 for the winner by unanimous decision,
In this next fight, we got Yuri Prochazka representing ZZ, like something like that, Republic versus Song Yadong. And I actually don't know where the hell Yuri's from. He might be one of those like Russian places that's just considered what it is, but I really don't know. Y'all let me know. But basically the whole first round, Yuri was just ahead where he was able to just rock Song Yadong. This is actually a nice matchup too in the first round because these are two former winners in like each of my brackets that I had before. As much as I wanted Song Yadong to win, Yuri was just too much for him as he was piecing him apart, dropping him like crazy. He ended up getting the ground and pound finish. No, wait, actually, I misspoken. He ended up taking his back and he gets him about flat. And he's going to go ahead and he's going to keep on hitting him with more ground and pound. But Song Yadong was able to survive. Then we got into round 3. Yuri drops him with an uppercut. He gets back up, but he's going to drop him with a straight right that sits him down. And then Yuri finally goes in for the ground and pound finish. In his next fight, Izzy versus Conor, Izzy goes for a spinning back fist into an overhand that rocks Conor McGregor. But Conor McGregor wasn't going to go out like that. He goes for a front kick. Izzy puts his face straight into it and also eats a side kick. And by the way, this is Ireland versus Nigeria. But Izzy ends up countering Conor McGregor and sits him down. And that was the rest of the first round. After some more standing, Conor McGregor finally goes for a hook kick that rocks Izzy. But Izzy's going to come back with a big Superman punch that rocks Conor McGregor and a couple more punches and a head kick that sits him down. And basically that was the rest of round 2. In round 3, Izzy rocks Conor McGregor with a head kick, and then he also rocks him with a leg kick that gets him on the back foot. Izzy goes back at it with a Superman punch as he knew it worked last time, and it rocks Conor McGregor and he sits him down. After a big beating on the feet, Izzy takes the fight to the ground and he turns to Dakistani and Adesanya, but Conor McGregor was able to get back up, as Adesanya is not Khabib. But basically, he got back up, but that was the rest of the round. Conor wasn't able to do anything to get the win.
All 3 judges scored the contest 30-27. Declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Israel, the last style bender.
In the next one, we got Dual Bronx Charles Oliveira representing Brazil versus Cyril Gane representing France. But he ended up rocking Charles Oliveira with a head kick and sits him down with a straight right. But Charles Oliveira tries to take it to ground. But for some reason, Cyril Gane takedown defense was on point. But Cyril Gane was having a big advantage on the feet as he rocks Charles Oliveira with a jab and sits him down with one. Cyril Gane ended up making the mistake that everybody makes, and he goes to the ground with Charles Oliveira as he goes for a triangle, but he was able to get out of it. Then for some reason, Cyril Gane ended up going for his own armbar that actually did better than Charles' submission, which I don't know what the hell happened there. And after trading a couple more submission attempts, Cyril Gane gets back up. Charles Oliveira goes to take it back to the ground to end round 1. Starting round 2, Charles Oliveira tries to take it to the ground, but for some reason, Cyril Gane takedown defense got better out of nowhere, as this is not John Jones. And Charles Oliveira ends up rocking him with a big elbow that messed up the camera angle, which I don't know what the hell happened there. Charles Oliveira was having some moments in this fight, but Cyril Gane was basically just piecing him up on the feet, and he was getting the better of him on the clinch. Later in round 2, Cyril Gane sits down Charles Oliveira with a straight right. Cyril Gane does go to the ground with him, where Charles Oliveira was eventually able to reverse positions. But there wasn't enough time for Charles Oliveira to set up a submission. He just rised up and gave a couple ground and pound shots to end the round. Then we start round 3 where Cyril Gane rocks Charles Oliveira once again when he goes for a jump and switch kick that didn't work out. Cyril Gane was piecing him up and he ended up dropping Charles Oliveira. He goes to the ground and pound, but he doesn't get the finish, as Charles Oliveira is dangerous on the ground and he ends up setting up a twister. But Charles Oliveira was not able to finish it, as Cyril Gane somehow his submission defense got better too. Cyril got back on the feet. It was getting late into round 3. Charles Oliveira, instead of letting some shots go, he started attempting takedowns, and basically that was the end of the road for him, as Cyril Gane was able to win an easy unanimous decision.
Unanimous decision, Cyril Gane.
Now we take our first look at the quarterfinal bracket. We got representing US, John Jones against South Africa's Dricus du Plessis. Then we got Moreno versus Makhachev, which is Mexico versus Russia. And then we got Volkanovski versus Yuri, which is Australia versus the Republic place. And then we got Nigeria, Adesanya. And then we got France, Cyril Gane. Alright, and in the first fight in the quarterfinals, we got John Jones taking on Dricus du Plessis. A lot of the first round, they were just trading clinches as John Jones lands a couple knees, but Dricus goes back and he lands a couple uppercuts in the clinch. John Jones goes in for another clinch, ends up landing a couple knees, but Dricus du Plessis was able to catch him with an uppercut as he shoots a takedown. And John Jones was going to go for another takedown, but Dricus' takedown defense was on point, and then again, they started just trading more clinches, but that was the end of round 1. And then we got into round 2. They started trading clinches again, but John Jones went for a head kick, and Dricus sits him down with a big overhand. And then surprisingly, Dricus shoots a takedown, and he was able to take him down. I don't know why, but his takedowns were on point. He was able to take down Marab, and now he was able to take down John Jones. Jon Jones clinching up again, and then he goes for a guillotine choke where he puts him back on the fence and he tries to Machida him, but Dricus du Plessis wasn't going to tap and he ended up getting out of it. And I don't know why, but in the Sims, Jon Jones is not that good in these simming tournaments. I noticed that as making a couple of them where he's only been in 2. He goes for another takedown, but Dricus' takedown defense was on point. But that wasn't going to stop Jon Jones as he goes for a big double leg and picks him up and slams him right on his back. But DDP was moving positions on the ground as he went to full guard, and then he was basically just surviving on the ground. He tries to reverse Jon Jones. He doesn't let that happen. And basically Jon Jones just controlling him for the rest of the round, but DDP did get his back at the end, but nothing. Starting round 3, I don't know who got the takedown, but Dricus ended up taking his back. I don't know who got the takedown because I messed up the clip. I got to get better at this. I'm starting to clip more. I got more tournaments coming out. I'm starting to clip better. I'm trying to get my clips better, like to record more of the fight. So I usually just try to record when something happens, but I'm trying to do better at that now because I missed out on stuff sometimes. Dricus ended up getting to a position where he was able to set up Kimura, and he was able to somehow tap Jon Jones. Dricus du Plessis was able to tap Jon Jones in the 3rd round to move on. I don't know what's happening. I guess he got plot armor, and Dricus du Plessis is just trying to meme his way through the tournament. But anyways, now we got Mexico versus Russia, which is Moreno versus Makhachev. Islam was able to go for an ankle pick where he gets Moreno down, and then he goes to side control where he eventually went to top mount. Moreno kept trying to escape. He kept trying to get out of the top mount, but Islam just kept on denying all his transitions where he ended up going for an armbar and he submits Moreno in the 1st round. Alright, in this next fight, we got Volkanovski versus Yuri. Basically, the 1st round was the same as most of these stand-up strikers fights where they just stood up the whole time, but Yuri ended up rocking him right at the end. In the beginning of round 2, Yuri rocks Volkanovski with a big straight right and throws a couple more combinations, but Volkanovski survives. Volkanovski was going to take that. He goes for a high kick, but Yuri lands his signature spinning elbow that rocks Volkanovski, but he eats it. Volkanovski was not having it on the feet as he clinches up Yuri Prochazka, and he ends up picking him up and slams him right on the ground. Yuri was kind of dominating on the feet, but Volkanovski was able to dominate on the ground. As he took his back, he got his back flat. He was able to mount up and just started spamming punches on Yuri as his ground and pound. He's not even getting tired, and Yuri kept trying to get back up, but he wasn't able to do much. And once he did get back up, Volkanovski sent him back down and got the finish. Now we get in this next matchup. We got Israel Adesanya versus Ciryl Gane, a big striker matchup. In the 1st round was the same thing as they did nothing. I don't know what's up with all these striker matches that they do nothing. But in the 2nd round, Ciryl Gane started off rocking him and goes for a spinning back fist, but he just gets countered instead. The 2nd round was where they started to heat up. Ciryl Gane went for a side kick and goes to pressure him, but Izzy rocks him with a big 1-2 and an overhand that sits him down. It was starting to get bad for Ciryl as he just kept getting pieced up, and Izzy walked him down and sent him down with a big head kick. Ciryl Gane was able to survive and he stands up, but just again, Izzy leans back and sits him down with a big straight right and takes this fight to the ground. This fight finally started getting to the feet, but Ciryl Gane goes for a big overhand, but instead he just eats a check hook that sits him down. He couldn't get his offense going as freaking Izzy pushed him down with a side kick just to make a statement, and the 2nd round was looking to probably be a 10-8, which doesn't really matter that much in this game in 3-rounders, as there's no draw. Ciryl went for a leg kick, but instead he just ate a big Superman punch that Izzy been landing all tournament. Just like earlier in the fight, Izzy goes for an overhand and Ciryl Gane lands a big check hook, but this time he rocks him. Izzy looks for a body kick, but instead Ciryl Gane sits him down with 2 big hooks. After a big comeback round for Ciryl Gane, and it was only a minute left, but Ciryl Gane was able to get the finish with a head kick. And after that big upset, that gets us to the final 4, where I don't know how the hell DDP or Ciryl Gane even made it here, but they're here. It looks like Dricus could meme his way through this tournament, and same for Ciryl Gane, but we also could get a Makhachev-Volkanovski final. But anyways, what we got left for this tournament is South Africa and Russia, du Plessis versus Makhachev, and we got Australia versus France versus Volkanovski versus Ciryl Gane. Alright, in the first fight in the final 4, we got Dricus du Plessis versus Islam Makhachev, South Africa versus Russia, where Dricus was able to rock Islam right off the bat and drop him with a head kick. And Dricus' takedown defense was holding up this whole video, but once he goes for a takedown, Islam was able to reverse it. Dricus was versing wrestlers his whole game, upgrading each time, but this time he got Islam Makhachev, which isn't going to be easy. In this tournament, Dricus was low-key doing pretty good as he was like winning most of his fights convincingly. I guess Murad was split decision, but we got Islam that was just getting comeback wins each fight. This whole first round was actually decently entertaining as they just kept switching positions on the ground constantly. Islam did seem like he was doing a little bit better on the ground, but Dricus did rock him in the beginning, and Islam didn't really do enough to steal the round. But he went for a ground and pound, but those shots just got blocked. And that was the end of round 1. Then we get into round 2. Dricus' takedown defense wasn't as good as it was the last fight, as Islam goes for a double leg and gets him right to the ground. And just like his last fight with Moreno, he ends up getting a top mount where he's going to set up a submission. And unfortunately for Dricus, that was going to be the end of the road for him as he gets submitted by omoplata. And with that win, Russia and Islam are in the finals. But and then we get to the next fight. We got Volkanovski versus Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane hits it with an uppercut and a straight right that sits him down right away. And then Cyril Gane was doing some ground and pound, but Volkanovski was able to reverse him. But after Volkanovski gets positioned, Cyril Gane goes ahead and stands it up. He's already doing better than what he did against John Jones. I don't know what happened. But right when he gets back up, Volkanovski goes ahead and he gets a takedown. And then Cyril Gane actually goes for a Kimura, but it's going to be the end of the round, so he gets nothing out of it. In the start of round 2, Cyril Gane went for a leg kick, but it ends up getting checked. And then Volkanovski's going to go ahead and go for a takedown, but Cyril Gane reverses him. After some time in the round, Cyril Gane goes for another leg kick that gets checked once again. And before round 2 ended, there wasn't much more that happened. Then we got halfway through round 3 where Cyril Gane started letting go punches and rocked Volkanovski with a double hook, which had Volkanovski wobbling back, but he was still able to survive. Cyril Gane was starting to piece him up. Volkanovski wasn't having all that, so he goes ahead and he tries to take down Cyril Gane, but he rolls out of it. And then he actually gets a check kick of his own and goes for another kick, but he gets checked. And then you have it again. Volkanovski went for a takedown, but for some reason, Cyril Gane's takedown defense is absolutely insane in this game. For some reason, when these bots' legs get low in the game, they just keep throwing leg kicks even if they keep getting checked. And it's starting to get to the end of round 3, but Volkanovski throws one more and he ends up actually rocking Cyril Gane.
Declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Cyril Gane.
And there you have it. Cyril Gane ruins all chances of an Islam versus Volk matchup that we would all want to see. But anyways, in the final matchup, we got representing Russia, Islam Makhachev, and I don't know how they got here, but representing France, Cyril Gane. And I guess it only takes one person. It doesn't take a whole country for this. So Cyril Gane's doing his thing. Okay, now we in the final matchup. We got Cyril Gane versus Islam Makhachev. And Cyril Gane, this whole tournament, had his takedown defense was looking good, but Islam Makhachev was able to take him down anyways because DDP's takedown defense was doing good too, but that didn't stop Islam. A lot of the first round, Cyril Gane was trying to get out of positions and he was moving, but Islam was kind of dominating on the ground. Until eventually, Cyril Gane was able to do a sit out and take this fight to the feet. Cyril Gane was doing a lot of clinch work. He was doing okay at it, but Islam wasn't going to have none of that, and he goes in for a takedown that he gets with ease. But once he takes him down, Cyril Gane actually ends up going for a triangle, but he gets nothing out of this. As Cyril Gane actually goes for a chain into an armbar, but he loses position doing it. But Islam Makhachev was just the better person on the ground, where he ends up actually setting up an arm triangle. And although Islam didn't do too bad on the arm triangle, Cyril Gane was able to get out of it. And what you would actually expect from a Cyril Gane fight, he got control for the rest of the round. But every round starts on the feet, and Cyril Gane's been doing good on the feet this whole tournament. But that wasn't going to stop Islam Makhachev for shooting takedowns, as he shoots a double leg that Cyril Gane was actually able to defend. But eventually, Islam Makhachev kept working for it, and he actually ends up getting the takedown this time. But once this fight went to the ground, Islam Makhachev was passing positions with ease, as he went to half guard, then he went to side saddle, and then after that, he went to side control, and then he ended up getting mount on Cyril Gane, where he was going to be attacking submissions, and he ends up actually going for an omoplata, which actually won him his last fight. And what do you know, even though it's a rare submission, Islam Makhachev actually goes ahead and does it again and pulls off an omoplata that wins him the championship. And there you have it, representing Russia. Islam Makhachev actually gets it done, finishing his way throughout the whole tournament, with his toughest fight actually being Marvin Vettori, his first fight of the day, where he got a comeback win in round 3 with a head kick KO. Part 2 might come soon with some different countries, but for this video, we got Russia and Islam Makhachev winning it all to become the best country in the UFC.